clear. Go right at it.
Okay. Great. What I started is a class called I Won't Supervise Your Kids, and that's exactly what it is. I've invited children ages 8 to 18 to join me in Central Park on Wednesday afternoons at 3:45. Anybody who's out there wants to do it. It's the corner of 85th and 5th. And once the children gather, they get to know each other. I say hello, I greet them, and then I go off to a coffee shop. And I have my cell phone with me in case anybody really needs me. And they have to figure out something to do. This is an activity I call playing. It's something that we did as kids back when, believe it or not, the crime rate was higher than it is now. So when I suggest, let's try this again, children are missing out on play. I'm not saying let's do something radical. I'm saying let's do something that we did as kids that our parents allowed us to do when the crime rate was higher. The crime rate was higher in the 70s, 80s,
yes,
and 90s
it was.
than it is today.
What makes me uncomfortable about that is that I, every day in my professional life, am dealing with the consequences of the play that occurred around the criminals that were lurking about in the 60s and 70s, and it's catastrophic. We have a pandemic of kids having suffered abuse, and we've learned from that, and now maybe we're adjusting that and watching, and maybe we're hypervigilant. Lisa, do you think we're hypervigilant? We're too vigilant?
I do. Well, first of all, I think the business model is hilarious. If anybody wants to pay me to not watch their kids, I'm happy to take that money.
And listen, I noticed that it's 85th and 5th right by the Metropolitan Museum, so I think she goes actually into the museum and goes to the Impressionist section.
But I do want to give a shout out to Lenore, because I raised my kids a half a block from Central Park, and we have to separate fear from facts. Everybody's afraid of New York City. It's actually one of the safest cities in America, and Central Park, one of the safest precincts in the park. And I think kids, I would say middle school and older, who have demonstrated responsibility. They call when they say they're going to. They come home when they say they're going to. They're with people that you are okay with as a parent. I think it's okay for them to go to the park and play on their own.
Lenore, you said 8 to 18. Is that correct?
I did say 8 to 18, and I chose the age of 8 for a reason, because in the rest of the world, age 7 is the age that most kids start walking or taking the bus by themselves to school.
I'm not happy. I wouldn't be happy with my 9-year-old around 15 and 16-year-olds. That would not. That I didn't know. That I hadn't vetted carefully.
Determination.
Well,
I think parents need to make that decision. Look,
they don't get to. They pay $300, and Lenore makes that determination for them.
That just doesn't make any sense. I don't think she has any takers on that. But can a 9-year-old walk to school on their own? I mean, some parents would say yes. Some parents would say no. Well, kids might be walking through a relatively unsafe area. Central Park is a very safe area. It's filled with cops and moms and with kids in strollers.
So what are we saying here?
Central Park is extremely safe. As your other guest was saying, it is the safest precinct in New York City. Last year it had 25 million visitors, and of those, there were 2 rapes. It's terrible that there were 2 rapes, but Texas has 25 million people, and if there were just 2 rapes in Texas, I think you would consider it very safe. This year there was 1 rape.
I know.
So what I'm suggesting is kids of different ages get together, and the different ages was deliberate, because one of the things that kids miss out on today when they are in all their structured activities after school is the chance to just play with someone a little older, have a mentor who teaches them how to play basketball. My son, when he was in middle school, was playing basketball with older kids. He got better, and then this summer he was teaching a 12-year-old. There's something great about the leadership that you get, and also the mentoring that you do.
Understood. I want to take some calls. I know the viewers must have sort of inputs on this. Was it Melissa I have out there? Yes, Melissa in Ohio. What do you got?
I just had a question. As a mom myself, I would not be comfortable allowing a stranger to watch my child in addition to pay that kind of money.
But I'm not watching your child.
The good news is, Melissa, is she's not watching your child. This is fantastic.
Another problem that I
you do have.
If you're paying $350 to have somebody unsupervised children, then I don't know the credibility behind.
Yeah, that part doesn't make any sense, because you can send your kids to the park for free. And listen, my kids who are now 23 and 21, law student, college senior, very emotionally healthy, doing well, and they grew up sometimes going to the park with their friends after school and playing. So I think it can be very healthy.
Let's put the $300 fee aside as a polemic. That was something you overstated your case perhaps a little bit with. But,
And I do offer scholarships to anyone who would like to come.
Fantastic,
and what I really
Lenore.
would like, I mean, the cool idea that I had is the idea of children coming together who don't necessarily know each other, having to figure out something to do on their own. This is a skill that kids have lost out on. Do you know that of kids ages 9 to 13, only 6% of them play outside on their own the way we did as kids. When you play outside on your own without somebody telling you what to do, you develop leadership. You come up with creative ideas. You compromise on what you're going to play. You make
Can I add one more thing? You're getting them away from screens. You're getting them away from TV and video games and computers.
Yes, all good. But
Exactly.
let's not over-romanticize something that an immigrant population did 80 years ago, which was throw their kids in the streets, and the ones that survived made it to adulthood.
That's
all I'm saying.
That's how
I was raised.
No, you were in the valley somewhere, right?
Yeah,
you were,
but it was go out and play,
that's not the streets of New York City.
Dark. New York City is the safest big city in America.
Now it is. I'm just saying, we need to be very careful about this. Look, 600 kids a year lose a limb from lawnmowers. I mean, we are doing better with accidents.
Let's not have them mow lawns.
The point is, the point is that there's things that accidents kill kids. We're doing better. You can drown in a few centimeters of water.